Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome back to another LUMUN training program video. My name is Reza Khan and this year at LUMUN I am an assistant committee director for the Social, Culture and Humanitarian Committee.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Hijab Rafee and I'm the Assistant Director of External Relations this year. And today we're going to be briefing you about moderate caucuses, and we hope that this video proves to be very helpful for all of you.
So starting off, as the name suggests, a moderated caucus is a part of formal moderated debate and it entails subtopics of the topic area that delegates feel need to be discussed.
So coming on to how do you raise a moderate caucus? You firstly do this by raising your placard, and after you have done so, you wait for the dais to recognize you. In some cases, the dais will not recognize you, and if that happens, you simply lower down your placard. But let's say that they do recognize you. In that case, if I'm the delegate of China, this is how I will phrase my moderate caucus. I will say, the delegate of China would like to raise a moderate caucus to discuss the impacts of climate change on developing nations for total time 15 minutes, individual speaker time 1 minute. Over here, I have mentioned three things. I have firstly mentioned my country, then I have mentioned the area of discussion, and thirdly, I have mentioned the time parameters. Now, Raza will brief you further about time parameters.
Also, instead of saying the whole thing, total time 15 minutes and individual speaker time 1 minute, some people to shorten it will also say time 15:1. Another question that delegates usually have is how do they get their moderated caucuses to be voted upon first? And the simple principle that you need to keep in mind is that the motion that accommodates the most speakers is the one that will gain precedence at the time of voting. So you can alter your time parameters to accommodate more speakers by either increasing the total speaker time or decreasing individual speaker time. So after you raise your moderated caucus, you have to wait for it to be voted upon. And to pass a moderated caucus, a simple majority is needed. So that is usually greater than 50% or more commonly referred to as 50% plus one. Another misconception that delegates have is that they think they can yield in a moderated caucus. Yields are only applicable in the general speakers list and are not applicable here. So the discussion in the mod has to be specific to the topic assigned and it has to be relevant to whatever is being discussed at hand in the moment. Another thing that delegates are very unaware of is that if a moderated caucus fails or if it is not voted upon, it can be raised again, but it has to be rephrased this time. And as always, decorum must be followed, so no crosstalk is allowed.
Coming on to some very basic examples that will be helpful for you in your future MUNs, and most of these apply to almost any committee that you will go into in the future. So mods about definitions, causes, impacts, the responsibilities of or role of stakeholders. An example of this would be the role of the internet in promoting child prostitution or child pornography is an example of that. And then loopholes in past frameworks. Another very common mod is the proceedings of the unmoderate caucus, and this is a mod that you will raise after an unmod, and you basically do this to discuss what happened inside the unmod. And then the mod about solutions you will most probably raise towards the end of the committee after you have substantially discussed a major portion of the topic area. So now it's very important to note how do you differentiate a good mod from a bad mod. So a bad mod will be very vague and it will be too broad and it won't be self-explanatory. On the other hand, a good mod will be very specific and it will also be very relevant to topic area. So an example of a bad mod would be if your topic area is regarding climate change, a bad mod would be the effects of climate change. So over here, the phrasing is too generic, it's too basic, it's very vague, and it covers a very large area of discussion. It's very broad. And that's not how you raise a mod. So to make this a good mod, you can rephrase it by saying the effects of climate change on developing nations, or you can say the effects of climate change on farmers. You basically cut down the topic into further subtopics to make it more specific to the area of discussion. We hope that this video was helpful for all of you and good luck to all of you. Thank you.